Hi there! You're about to listen to a vintage episode of the Under the Microscope podcast. While the content is still as relevant and as interesting as when it was recorded, our webpage has changed. You can now find us at thesciencetalk.com/real-scientist-nano. Welcome to Under the Microscope. This series is brought to you by the Real Scientists Nano team. Our goal is to provide a platform where scientists can communicate their work and interact with the public. Side that informs you that you're being recorded. I will see it. There it is. Avoid legal snags by telling people they're being recorded. Servet, you're being recorded. Okay?
Yes. Thanks.
All right. Hi, everyone. Today we have with us Servet Ozdemir, who is a Post Doctoral Research Associate at the Institute of Photonics and Quantum Sciences at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh, Scotland. Hi, Servet. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Wonderful. Could you explain your research to us in super duper simple words, please?
Yes. So basically, I work on atomically thin two-dimensional crystals of atoms arranged in honeycomb shapes. These crystals exhibit manifestations of quantum physics. I work at the interface of exploring these physics using two complementary techniques, which are either electrons and electron transport or light.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, that's it in a nutshell.
In super simple words. Okay. So atomically thin two-dimensional crystals. Could you give examples of what kind of crystals are we
Yes.
talking about, material-wise?
The celebrity one is graphene.
Of course.
Everybody knows about, but moving on from graphene, we also have some semiconducting and insulating counterparts, such as transition metal dichalcogenides, and basically we have like molybdenum selenide, molybdenum sulfide, we have boron nitride, which is very, very fundamental. And then basically the field has moved on from just solidly two-dimensional crystals to van der Waals heterostructures and nanostructures associated with those van der Waals heterostructures. And basically, so there are all kinds of crystals ranging from like various properties, including magnetic ones and superconducting ones. And depending on the sort of physics we're after, we basically put those crystals on top of each other and try to create a desired system to unleash the physics in these nanostructures. So I basically work at the interface of nanomaterials and basically nanophysics and quantum nanophotonics and quantum nanotransport.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Sounds super interesting. Let's talk more about it in the long podcast. Do you have a crystal or a material that is your favorite or that is super close to your heart? Do you have that?
So
I know it's a difficult question.
I would say it's graphene, just because it's the reference material for all these two-dimensional systems. And it just displays so beautiful physics, yet at the same time that physics can be understood by a reasonable undergraduate level of physics knowledge. It's just so beautiful, and it sort of revolutionized the solid state physics in a sense. So I would say
it's graphene,
and it's linked to my PhD thesis too. It was in a sense a follow-up, which I will talk more about in the long podcast too.
Okay. Wonderful. So graphene it is. Okay. We love all materials, but graphene like slightly more, just a little bit more. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Super. So, well, your work sounds really, really interesting. So what can the followers expect in the week that you are taking over the Real Scientist Nano Twitter account?
So basically, I will introduce myself and how I got to where I am. Before my current position, I was a PhD student in Manchester. and where graphene was discovered. And I worked very closely with some of the people directly involved in the discovery. And basically, following on from there, I will give a brief introduction of the history of 2D materials, how it all began, and where it is now, basically. And on Wednesday, I will talk about the fascinating physics I discovered during my PhD on rhombohedral thin films of rhombohedral graphite, which was basically a generalization of graphene physics onto a three-dimensional, quasi three-dimensional system. And on Thursday, I will talk about basically following on from my PhD work, I'll talk about the research of my current group, which involves Moria superlattices and quantum optics on those systems, and where the group is up to currently, some of the latest papers the group has published. Following on from there, I will also talk about my current project. Basically, I am at the interface of utilizing my PhD expertise with the current quantum optics expertise of the group. And we are basically trying to use the two techniques in a complementary way to understand Moria superlattices of transition metal dichalcogenides in a more clear way. And I guess finally what the followers can expect is an overview of the general quantum transport and quantum optics of 2D materials in a more physicsy way. Just because even though it is all materials and nanoscience, my background is physics, and I like to enhance the physics a little bit. So for those, but then I think it will be the nice thing about 2D materials is you don't lose anybody, especially Moria superlattices. They're basically very, very picturesque, and putting two crystals on top of each other and creating an artificial crystal using the periodicity between them. So yeah, I'll keep things as general as possible and keep everybody interested.
Okay, sounds like a plan. There's a lot that is coming when you're taking over the account. So thank you very much for speaking with us, Servet. Looking forward to having you on Real Scientist Nano.
Thank you for listening. To know more about us, please visit our website realscientistsnano.org and follow us on Twitter at realsci_nano.